Hello. Sorry, I didn't know you were there. I was continuing a little bit of research, so. How are you? How are you? Have you been in my live before? Hello, hello. Hi, Dee. So today we're going to talk about my newest research that I started yesterday and developed an entire paper on the subject. So it's difficult for me once I start pulling on the string, on the thread, not to follow it through. I'm very persistent. Once I start finding information, it's just like a rabbit hole and I just have to finish it. So this is what led me to reconstructing a known Sanskrit word, Matsya. And the implications of it are enormous. So for those of you who don't know, in Hinduism, okay, Vedic time period and onward, Vishnu came into the world in his first avatar as a fish, okay? And the fish's name is Matsya, okay? He's a deity, and in and of his own right. And still, of course, worshipped today in various temples called, and the people are called the people of Meenesh, Meenesh. But the issue around this word, around this name, is that it's being used for the word fish, like just zoologically, just in general. However, there's another word for fish, Meena, okay? And even Yaska, who was a known Sanskrit etymologist from 600 BCE, mind you, okay? He even wasn't sure of the origin of the two words, okay? And so, you know, the translation of Mina has been, to glitter, to shine, because, the fish's scales, right? Which, that's fine. That makes sense, right? But for Matsya, it's just fish. It's been used as its own lexical item, right? In Sanskrit, you can divide the words, right? You've got compound conjuncts and syllables, and they'll make a whole word. But Matsya is treated as its own entire word, and I didn't realize that until I started delving into this more. Okay, and so this is the result of my inquiry. Okay, so we have the story of Manu, where he has his hands cupped, and there's a little tiny fish egg, and he takes care of it, and it grows bigger and bigger, and then it goes into the ocean. It's so large. It basically tells Vishnu's avatar, tells Manu that he needs to gather up all the animals and to protect the world because there's going to be a giant flood, right? And so this is the first time that Vishnu appears in the manifested world, right? In the physical form. Because in Hinduism, the deities, the devas, are unmanifest, unborn, because they're not a part of the physical world. And so they're called Aja, unborn, okay? But there's also another term, Bu, B-H-U, Bu, for unmanifest, and that's more like the Vedic period. Anyway, so we have these two words that are competing for the same space, right? Matsya and Mina. And here's the word Matsya, okay? So first of Vishnu's 10 avatars in the Dajavatara, okay? And there's a sequence, but once you realize what Matsya actually means, everything starts to make more sense in ontologically, or within the religion itself, okay? Matsya does not mean fish. Fish is it's derived, right? But originally, Matsya doesn't mean fish at all. The syllable ma, right here, means to measure. It's the root word, measure, manifest, or bring into bounded form. Okay, ma is the most common occurring, I want to say word, but yeah, it's a root word, in Sanskrit. And from what I understand, it's because it's the most important cosmologically. Bringing the world into existence, bringing the avatars into existence, or the gods into existence, in the sense of being in form. They already exist, unmanifest, but they're being manifested in physical form to help humanity, right? So Matsya is not its own lexical item by itself. Okay, it's treated that way for hundreds, if not, thousands of years actually, but it never was meant to be that way. So I'm laughing because I talk about to be, the phrase in here later on. Hi Ari. So Matsya should be bifurcated, meaning it should be split down the middle between ma, okay, and the suffix siya. This is actually a suffix. There's already, in Sanskrit, you already have sya as a suffix, okay? It means of or pertaining to, right? But I figured out that there are early Proto-Indo-Aryan and Sanskritic, what they call alveolar sibilant affricates, okay? And that's what this TS is, okay? It's a noise, not a noise, okay? This is common in SS suffixes, okay, and Proto-Indo-Aryan and Sanskrit. They still retain the TS noise, okay. And through my Indus Valley script decipherment, I figured out that that's actually what they do. The Indus Valley civilization peoples are Proto-Indo-Aryan and they speak Sanskrit. And the TS sound is actually attested in 3 different words inside the Indus inscriptions, which are going to be discussed over here in this paper. Okay? And it exists. It's there. TS. What was it? Elam hypothesis et al. That's very outdated, to say the very least. And I don't believe in the invasion hypothesis either. None of that is currently supported. Also, yes. So by the time, okay, this is explosive. Are you ready? The religion of the Indus people is not proto anything. Hinduism, Vedic Hinduism, was already well established. All of the core ideas are already established at that point. So Hinduism is extremely old. Extremely old. Now, the Indus Valley civilization was between 2600 BCE, okay, and 1500, okay? That means, by proxy, it is required for the Hindu religion to be even older, because in the Indus Valley period it was already established through the inscriptions. We're going to go through them. It's already established. They name Rama, Yama, epithets of Vishnu, Mappa. There's whole inscriptions of descriptions of these things in the devas. It talks about the reclining deva, Vishnu, and the not reclining, meaning Shiva. It talks about the Virarasa and the pose Virasana. It even talks about a new one, Pa'asana, the protector's posture, which is, from the text, him holding his hands out, grasping the tigers. That is the protector's posture, the not standing, or the not reclining, natir posture. So, anyway, but yes. And so, this idea that the Dravidians is there a king's list? No. But throughout the inscriptions, it says Bara. Okay? The bearer. At first I thought it was the ritual bearer, but when I got down to this one inscription, it said the name, the Bararat. Okay? And what I know from how the Indus script works, it likes to reduce repeating syllables. Okay, so I was surprised to see it expanded, but if you overlap a Ra and Ra together, right, and reduce it to one Ra, which is typical of what they would do, they would just reduce it, it becomes Bharat, which is the original name of India and the original name of the leader of the tribe of Bharat, which is the origin of the people, okay, of the Vedic people. But the thing is, the Indus Valley people are the Vedic people. And from that inscription, I figured out that the ethnonym, that the name of the title, because it's not a name, it's actually a title. The title of the ruler, the king of the Indus Valley civilization people, is Bharat or Bhararat. It's a title. Just like Pharaoh is a title for the Egyptian ruler. It's not a name, it's a title. originally. So all of these inscriptions say Bada, da, 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 like Bada something, the song of the, Bada. He's talking about the king. So I can go on a rant about this, but first I'm trying to do it like, where it's not just me talking. I want to go through all the papers like sequentially. So, but here we have a breakdown of matzah or matzia. Okay, so now I know that here, ma of matzia means measure or physical form, because ma is used in that way to just in so many different words, okay, in Sanskrit and in the ontologically, like religiously, right? Okay, measure, manifest. It doesn't have to be bu, but it means the same concept as bu or sat. Okay, so then we look at the suffix sia. Okay, yes, there's a T. That's completely normal in Indus script and in Proto-Indo-Aryan. So the Sanskrit of Indus Valley still retains PIA or Proto-Indo-Aryan morphology. Okay, it's still mixed in there. Where was I going with this? Okay, so the TS is retained. Okay, it's alveolar sibilant affricate. Okay, and there are other dialects that have TS and DZ as well. Both of them are affricates. So now we know that the T is neither here nor there. It still means sia, okay? And that means of or pertaining to. So the word matzia does not mean fish inherently, okay? It means of or pertaining to physical form. It is the word just to describe the avatar, right? What the avatar is doing. It is of or from the physical, it's going into, it's of physical form. So Vishnu is of physical form. Matsya. That's all that means. It's another way of saying avatar. So this whole entire time, we have this word Matsya, and even Yaska from 600 BCE was unsure of the origin of Matsya or Mina. Okay. Okay. I mean, this is huge, and so I started breaking it down. This was my hypothesis from the get-go. Okay, I was like, it's got to be bifurcated down the center because I'm seeing the C on the end, and I already know that the Indus used TS. And so I started with that, and worked my way through Dravidian and how it came to have Mina and in their language. And Mina is actually borrowed from PIA or Sanskrit. It's borrowed. It's now understood to be borrowed from Sanskrit, not the other way around. Okay. And then Dravidian reduced the word Mina, and but they, even before they reduced it, it still had the meaning of to glitter or to shine. Okay, so they even used the meaning. They didn't change the meaning yet. A lot of time passed. Okay, and then the Proto-Dravidian broke up into different dialects. Okay, and you also have Parji and things like that. So Parji is where it became min or mean instead of mina. And the meaning changed. The meaning changed to be. Now how the heck do you take a fish word, reduce it, right, like an abugida almost, pretty much, reduce it, and have it mean to be, right? I know some scholars are like, oh, well, it's a fish, it glitters and shines, you can suddenly see it, it appears, therefore it's to be. That doesn't make sense. That's a huge stretch. What I believe, and I think the evidence strongly suggests, is that you had two peoples living harmoniously side by side, Dravidians in the west of India, not from the north. We now understand that they are from the west of India. And then you have PIA Indus people, right, who speak Sanskrit and practice Hinduism. Here, yes, there's southern sites on the peripheral of the Harappan civilization, but so that means they were commingling like peacefully, right, with the southwestern Dravidians. And so that's how that word Mina came to be in Proto-Dravidian. Okay. However, the idea of Vishnu, right, and Matsya and all of that, because they didn't borrow Matsya, they only borrowed Mina. So that tells me the religious aspect of Matsya and avatar concept wasn't well known to them. So they borrow Mina, kind of rebus it to men, and then they become aware, I guess, culturally of the idea of avatar, right, in Hinduism, as everybody starts spreading this way. And so that makes sense that now it would be, to exist, right? So that's my theory on that. That makes more sense to me than the other thing. So here's something also really cool, okay? And I found this out today, so I added it in today for the origin of Matsya. Here's a list of Proto-Indo-Iranian PII, okay, Vedic Sanskrit, Old Avestan, Younger Avestan, and Dravidian, okay? These are all the variations of the spelling and the evolution of the word Mina, and then a secondary Matsya. Okay, we have Mina in Vedic Sanskrit, and Matsya, right, the secondary version. Avestan is the sister language to Sanskrit, okay? So keep that in mind. So that we're able to look at them side by side, okay, and derive what the other word above it, right, and the other in PIA, Proto-Indo-Aryan, right, because it goes Proto-Indo-Aryan and then it splits into Avestan, okay, and Sanskrit. So you can kind of deduce what the original previous spelling was and pronunciation. Okay? The neat thing about this is that we have the same spelling, okay? Matsya, Matsyo, and Younger Avestan. But this means mortal or human in Old Avestan. Right here. Ma is the core word. Notice that, oops. I hate it when I do this. Right click the wrong thing. If it'll load, I can exit out of it. Is that how I turn it off? Oh, perfect. Okay, so the root word is ma. Okay, it's not its entire lexical item. You can look at all of these dialects and languages, and it only uses ma. There is no T. Okay. And the ending, the suffix, co or sia or sia or tia, they all change. Only the suffix, okay, for the most part. So that tells you that there's a division right after ma, okay. What else? Okay, so keep that in mind. Now the story. Okay, we're going to go down to section 5, okay? I start talking about the narrative of Shatapatha Brahmana and a bunch of other things, and you're more than welcome to read that as well. I also talk about the origin of the word for mother, okay, mata, and how that is also, it's describing a mother who, a mother gives form to children, to humanity, physical form, right? So I just keep presenting more and more evidence that it should be ma. That is the root of it, okay? Let's go down to section 5. I think it's 5.3, which would make it easier. I mean, I literally about fell at my chair when I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh. And it's the word for mortal or human, but it's on an unrelated etymology of a different word from a different culture, but it's nearby. It's Iranian. But it further proved that I was right. Am I already at my appendix? Hold on a minute. Oh no. Okay. Here we have table 1 for morphological comparison. Okay. I say existence marking because when you say of or pertaining to, you're implying existence of something. Something is in reality, right? So that's why I'm describing it that way. Which provides another layer of meaning to the meaning of the word. Where are we? Okay, the etymology of the word masagetai. Okay, there is a group of people, okay, called masagetai, but this is Greek, okay, and it was a Greek transliteration, okay. I forgot who was over there. It was a Greek. Ancient Greek guy, and his name slipped my brain. Anyway, doesn't matter. He was over there and he transliterated it to this word. Okay. And unfortunately, it was saying that the East Iranian peoples were called fish eaters or fish people, and this is the result, Masya Kata. Okay. Young Avestan is Masya, fish. But Old Avestan, Masya, okay, means human or mortal. And what's even more interesting is the secondary part, kata. Okay, the way PIA works in the evolution of K, it turns into a G. Okay, so it becomes Masya Gata, right? Masio is Old Avestan. It's the same word. It's attested to be the same word, okay, as the Younger Avestan, Masya, but it does mean human or mortal. So now we know that Masya actually means human or mortal, not fish. So that further supports my idea about Matsya, okay? But Harmata was right about that, okay? He was wrong about the suffix kata. To me, I looked straight at it and I was like, that's song. That's the word song. It's gatha, okay? So instead of it being ka for short for kappa for fish, right? It's gatha, song. So it's literally the people of the song or people of the hymns, right? And what are Zoroastrians? They're the people of the hymns, okay? So that is just, I was not expecting to find that, okay? See, here we have the Greek ending there. He's trying to say gatha. Okay, but unfortunately it was rendered as kappa or kata. So it's not people of the fish or people that eat fish, right? That's not what it means. It's people of the hymn or the song. And that aligns with the cosmology and just the religion of Zoroastrians. But my point being is that Matsya means mortal, but more specifically, physical form. Humans are a physical form, right? We're mortal. It's not saying Vishnu is mortal. It's just saying that Vishnu is of physical form, right? And naturally, physical form is mortal. So this was my my newest fun project, but I will say this. Because no one knew the origin of Matsya, okay, they assumed that the PIE, or Proto-Indo-European word for the Sanskrit Matsya was Matsya, the same spelling, the same word. But it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're skipping PIA, PII, where's that at? And so I reconstructed it from what I knew, okay? And this is what I came up with. Okay, because it's not Matsya, it's Mayos. Yos is a known suffix to make it adjectival. I can't pronounce that today. So this is Mayos. Okay, this is the original Proto-Indo-European pronunciation of the Sanskrit Matsya. That is where it comes from. Manifested, measured, or formed. It's all the same semantic description of a mortal, of being in existence. And thus, of course, being not exposed, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bombarded. Influenced by the ills of being immortal, right? Okay, so what else? Talk about the two siblings born of the fish. This rendering of Matsya is now explains this story. Okay, in the Mahabharata, of two siblings coming forth out of a fish, okay? They were named specific names. The boy was named Matsya, okay? And the girl was named Matsya Gandha, okay? Translated as she who carries the trace of the fish. But that's not what it means, okay? Then her name is changed to Satyavati, okay? If you render Matsya Gandha using the bifurcation of Matsya and using its real meaning of pertaining to bounded form or physical form in the sense of an avatar, then the entire story makes sense. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I know I'm kind of rambling. Okay, where is it? Okay, so here's the breakdown. Okay, her name, Sat, her new name, Sat, existence or being. Like the idea of asat and sat is the same thing as being unmanifest and manifest. Okay. Ya, okay, which is a nominal marker saying it's a person, it's a name. And then vati, feminine, possessive suffix, she who possesses. Okay, so she possesses existence or being. It is literally the same meaning of Matsya. Okay? And the same thing for the boy named Matsya. And what I find more interesting is that as the story goes along, okay, they have their own kingdoms, okay, and even the people are called the people of Matsya, right? The kingdom of Matsya. But more interestingly is that they are told to go but as avatar, the idea of avatar. That's what it is. That's the real meaning of Matsya. Yeah, I go into great detail on how it fixes a lot of the ontological issues of using fish as the only meaning. Alright, so let's move on to the actual inscriptions of the Indus Valley civilization. Okay? Let me show you the quick table at the end. I have an appendix, okay? Here for Matsya really quick. Showing all the dialects, all the languages, and how they break down the word on, and how it makes sense to bifurcate it. Okay? So here's the appendix. It preserves the root ma. See? Proto-Iranian, Matsya. Younger Avestan, Masya. Okay? This is a little different, but Sia becomes I, right? Again, Sia is I. Sia is say. So on and so forth. Hig. Okay? Ma is there. Ma is there. Ma, ma, ma. All the way down. Okay? Same thing here. Parthenian. Gurani, Zazaki. Middle Persian. Classical Persian, modern Persian, Tajik. It's all bifurcated at the exact point at which I state is the correct point, right after ma. Yep. Okay, so let's move on to my paper, The Preliminary Observations on Symbol Correspondence between the Vinca and Indus sign systems. And of course it does include decipherment of the Indus script by proxy. Yes. Yes, I do believe that Vinca is related to Indus. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. There's no other way around it, especially considering the archaeology of the Vinca people, of their religious artifacts. Yep. Yep. There's some sort of relationship there. Okay, so I'm gonna jump straight into the, it's raining over here, to the inscriptions, okay? But before we do that, I have to go over a few correspondences, okay? This is the Vinca sign, okay? Here's the Indus sign, and it'll be the same pattern through each correspondence, okay? This is a Harappan seal. This is not a unicorn, it's just called that because of the 2D shape of the bowl. Here's the yoke there, and another yoke here. This one is actually nested inside the other sign right here. So you can see the extreme similarity between Vinca and Indus signs. But for the most part, I do focus on the Indus because I have to, right? It's a logical result. Because I have to figure out what the Indus says, right? To try to have a basis to see what Vika might be. And so I went down that rabbit hole and deciphered it. There's still a lot that I have not done, but I have quite a lot already. I tried to pick the ones that occurred most often. So. Okay, so we have the Pashupati seal, okay? It's most famous seal. It's a gorgeous piece, okay? This has been called Proto-Shiva. But it's not a Proto-Shiva, okay? It is Shiva. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, yes, he's seen as having furry arms and, half bull, and all that, animal features. But that's because he's representing what Hinduism already calls as a quality of, or an epithet of Shiva. He's called Sthanu, right? Standing firm. The standing firm one, the immovable one. Okay? And so he's basically, when he's seen in animal form or semi-animal form, he's representing Sthanu, right? Or Stha. That's all that means. Doesn't mean he's a different god or anything like that. It just, that's what they're trying to show, is that he's embodying the quality of the Nandi bowl. So here, Shiva is sitting in Virasana position, okay, on his throne, and he has 4 very large animals surrounding him, okay, tiger, water buffalo or bull, the rhino, the elephant, and then he has deer or antelope below him, okay. And this will become important, all right. So let's move forward. Okay, so this is a coin of, really ancient coin, okay, of the Nandi Pada bull. Okay, the ride of Shiva, the vehicle of Shiva is the bull. You see his ears here, right? And then this is the 3-horned, I should say the horned hat, not 3-horned. This is the base of the horns right here. This is the horned hat of Shiva in the Pashupati seal. Here we see that again. This is his hat. This is the face of a boar. Okay. So one of the signs is a fish. Okay, it occurs very often. Okay, but 2 of the signs that have been interpreted as fish signs are not fish signs. After I saw this coin, I realized, right, this one, this part, I realized that the sign I'm looking at, or was looking at, and it was being interpreted as fish, is in fact a boar head. Okay, this is a boar head. It's got 2 ears and 4 tusks. Okay. Here is the hat, right? And then the boar head. So I know that the Indus script is Sanskrit and it's an Abhagita. Okay? Abhagita means you have a base sign, which would be like this base primary sign. It would be the boar head. It's got no extra marks on it, so it's the base sign. This one is not a base sign. If there's extra marks or any other signs added to it, it's no longer a base primary sign in and of itself. So in Abhagita, when you have a primary base sign with no extra marks or anything like that, you would add the vowel a on the end of the syllable. Okay, so for example, this one here is not, doesn't follow that rule. Okay, there are very few of them that don't. The word I'm looking for is rebus. Okay, it's shortened, right? You have a word, varaha, for boar, and it's rebus to vara. So this sign means vara, V-A-R-A. Okay. The majority of the time, you'll have a whole entire word. If this didn't follow the vara, like the rule for vara, it would be just va, but it's not va. Another sign does that. But I'll continue. I'm sure I'm probably confusing everybody. Alright, so now we know that boar sign, or that fish sign, is actually a boar sign, and it means vara. Okay? Weights and measurements and architecture was extremely important to the Indus people. Okay? We know that right off the bat. Okay, we found a lot of archaeological tools in archaeology. A lot of cube measures. They're little stone cubes. And so when I was looking through the Indus text, which I forgot to pull that up, let me do that so you can see the inscriptions. I do apologize. That would make it easier to understand, huh? Alright, we're going to pull up Mahadevan's corpus. As soon as I get to it. Okay, there we go. Found it, finally. Okay, so this is Mahadevan's corpus, or concordance. That's the word I was trying to find. We're going to go to page 43. Oh, we're already there pretty much. So these are the lists, sign lists. Okay, he tries to group them as best as possible according to the types. All right. He starts with the anthropomorphic forms first. Okay. I'll let you look at that for a second. We have zoological. These are assumed to be numbers, but they are not. These are not numbers. At least not all of them. Majority are not. I do not believe that these are numbers at all, really. Okay, here's some more abstract ones. And so not all of these signs are rebused, meaning you don't always reduce the word for that object to its first syllable. It's not always done that way. So it's kind of like a hybrid. Okay, so there's actually 419 signs. There was 2 extra ones found. Alright. And so you can see the inscriptions. And here are the list of inscriptions. And he categorizes them by individual signs. Really, I think he should have done it by pairs, but that's fine. And this works too. I can find everything. Everything at least, excuse me. And he also divides it by site as well, like Mohenjo-daro and the others. All right, let's move forward. Okay, so I know that they loved weights and measures. So immediately I looked at this and I was like, oh, it's a measuring cube on a plumb line, right? This appeared to me to be a scale, but then as I went along, I realized it was not. In fact, I was able to figure out the origin of one of the modern script letters because of this sign right here. But I'll show that a little bit later. Okay, so there is a nested construction. So in Indus sign systems, you'll have some that have another sign inside another sign. Okay, and so you read it from the inside outward. Okay, every once in a while you can go inside, outward, back toward, but that only happens in one sign so far. That's it. Oh, and they have a tendency to drop the initial A on words. So, for example, instead of apagama, it's pagama. They don't even hint at an A on the word. All right. Trying to find the inscriptions. Oh, going back to the Vedic epithet of Sthanu for Shiva, okay, means the standing one, or the immovable one, okay. The Nandi bull is Shiva's vehicle, right? But of course he's a deity in his own right. And this was before I realized what this sign was, but I noticed it and I was like, wow, that obviously is associated directly with the bull, right, with the Nandi bull. And I already knew what this ring, right, it's actually an oval, okay, originally it was a circle, but it's the sign for the yoni, and this is the sign for tha or ta. It's already attested in other scripts, like we already know that to be true. But what I could not figure out was the inside sign. It drove me nuts. I was like, it's not a wheel because it's drawn as an oval for the most part, so it's not a wheel. I'm like, what is this? I know that the outside sign is tha or ta. And I'm like, this is not a K or an A. And then it just came to me because I realized the issue of Sthanu. I was like, well, what is the bull? What are the qualities of the Nandi bull? And it dawned on me, Sthanu, sa, tha, put them together is tha. I was like, oh, it literally is the sign for sa, radiating in all directions inside tha. And I already knew you're supposed to read the inside first. So it's sa and tha becomes tha. So this is literally the sign for stha, or standing firm. I mean, that's huge. So I figured that out. So literally, that's what it means. That sign means standing firm. So I went back to these other seals, okay, and I found this seal, which was really neat because you have proto-Shiva, really it's just Shiva, okay, standing firm against attack from two tigers, right? But then you have this female, there's a female deity standing firm against two tigers. To me, they look more like boar, but these are tigers. Excuse me. So What's above her head? That's the sign for sta, for standing firm. She literally is embodying standing firm. So all these animals that you're seeing around these figures and around Pashupati and the Pashupati seal are all examples in nature of animals that naturally stand firm. In other words, they're immovable. You cannot move an elephant, right? Can you push over an elephant? No. Can you push over a bull? No. Can you push over a tiger? Nope. What was the other one? Can you push over a rhino? No, you cannot. And so that is what is being described. It's a literal thing, a physical thing. You cannot move them, right? So the embodiment of these deities is representing that they are immovable against attack, physical attack. So that's literally what the original term meant. And it wasn't just an epithet for Shiva. Its original meaning was any deva was standing firm. And that was his, or their protective element. They protected the people by standing firm. Okay, here's a really detailed carving of a rhino standing firm. And this is, of course, is a seal, and you would read it, flip-flopped. So that's what he's doing. He's meditating in Virasana, right? And these animals are no longer trying to attack him, right? They're just there. So basically he has made their attacks inert by being in Virasana, the hero's pose. And this is really neat. This is a naming system, okay? I found the sign for Kia, and it's by comparative. I've spent a lot of time. Yes, Evan. Yes, I'm excited about that. It's proving a lot of my theory right. And I've got another book called Eden Remembered. And just all of it's just coming together nicely. So here we have the sign for Kia, this backwards arc, and then this right here, Kia. Okay. The two small lines are an A. Okay. So this is A Kia, and this is Ka A Kia. Okay. If you cover up, and what's cool about this is because it's phonetic, CA is the same thing as KA. It sounds the same, right? So they just used the Ka arc for the CA. So it's now Ka A Kia, and he is named, or he is called, right? But I actually found the name of a Rajasthani clan. Okay, Bhukia. It's extremely old. It's from the Banjara Lambadi group. Okay, and they actually say that their origins are from Rajasthan. Okay, which is the Indus area. And in their oral histories, they state that they are come from a warrior caste. Okay, and that is true. The Indus scripts are proving that. Because the script names them Bhukia. Okay. Which is freaking cool. And then there's another name, Surukia. So it's a naming convention when you see Kia, for the most part. Okay. So it's so cool. So cool. So that was a toe dip, okay? We also have vocalic glide, okay? Basically, when you have two vowels together, you have to have like a Y or an H in there to make, you know what I mean? You can't just say E-E, right? For I. So you gotta keep that in mind as well. Vocalic glide is applied here. So basically, okay, remember how I said you have nested signs? These are nested signs. Okay, if there's an extra sign, it's probably nested for the most part. You have an inside sign, and then an outside sign that like basically is expanded outward, and the other sign is inserted into it, right? So that's all that's happening here too, even though it looks different just because tha is separated. Anytime you see this, just one line in each corner, that's aya, A-Y-A. Okay, Y is the vocalic glide that you have to apply to the, because it's two lines, A-A. So it's whatever the inside sign word means, because you know it's going to be a full word, right? And then aya added to it on the end. See, this is AA, and then you apply the vocalic glide, aya, A-Y-A, or aya, excuse me. All right, so here are, finally, after all my rambling, the decipherments and translations. Okay. So, this sign, which is the deer antler headdress, okay, represents Shiva, right? Okay, you're like, wait a minute, deer antlers? Yes. Excellent, thank you. All right, so this is Pa for protector, right? Pa. Pari, this is the raw sign with diacritic marks for re, re, or ru. Pari, and then, hey Astro, you missed my discussion on Matsya. I'll have to go back through it a little bit later though, for you. Excuse me. All right, so this means the purifier, and he is known by name. Okay, here's Ka'akia right here. Okay, this is an I, right? Of course, the outside part is tha, but when you hear it, it's ti, ya. This is ya. Tia. This can also be iti by itself. Iti. Ti, ya. Okay, then ya, tha, a, bu. Okay, the base sign of the square is just a square with not a small, like everything else removed, right? And that is ba. Okay, base sign is just the syllable with an A. Okay, so that would be ba, this is bu. Okay, tia, yatha, abu. Here in the manner of the unmanifest. This is ja, ya. This one was so difficult, okay, because again, they do like to drop the initial A in words. They don't need it, right? So, if you were able to scroll in and look at this tiny little sign that they made, okay, this is the fish sign, okay, right there, and the little, what am I trying to say? The tail feet, the tail feet right there, okay, and then there's a slash. Okay, that slash, I figured out, is a T or TR. Okay? And yes, these are all there's rules to this. Like you're following the same rules. When it's not an object word, meaning it's just the word for the object, okay, you have to follow the rules of the lines, because there are rules to this. All right. A slash is TR or T. Most of the time it's TR. Okay, just remember that. So then we have Jaya, and then T. Right. This is actually me. It's rebused from Mina for fish. Okay. Not Matya, because we already know that Matya is not even what that means. So it's Mina, right? Rebus to me. And then the slash is TR. So that makes it T meter, MITR, or mitra. It's used for both. Then T again. So then we have T mitrati. Now we know that in Indus, the initial A's are dropped. Sometimes it'll be a U, but the vowel is dropped. So it's Jaya Ati Mitrati. Victory in peaceful accord or peaceful treaty. Okay. Here I put a note. I said, although Mitrati means to behave in a friendly manner, given the context, it is more apt to frame it in a warrior political context. Peaceful accord, right? And then we have an epithet for Vishnu, Mappa, Ma, Pa, Shri. Mappa, Shri. It's not Shri Mappa. I've noticed in Indus they do a lot of object modifier instead of modifier object. So it's Mappa, Sri. And you'll see that elsewhere as we go along. Okay. The next sentence is pa ya ma, because remember this is a measuring cube, right? So ma means measure. Okay. And this is the base sign, so it is ma. It has to be an A. Pa ya ma, Sri a or Sri ya, because we need a vocalic glide. Abu. Abu. The great milk, the joy of the unborn. Okay? And think about this ontologically and from a religious aspect. The churning of the ocean, right? So that's what this is referencing, the churning of the ocean for Amrita. Right? So that is the joy of the unborn, the joy of the devas, bringing forth immortality. Right? This is pramadi, okay? Pra, ma, di. Pramadi, hava, ba, or hava, ba. Here's another neat thing. They remove the A when it's va with it. This sign is hava. Okay, there's another one, mha, but they're using it as maha and hava. There's another one where it's a door sign, okay, dvara, and they rebus it to dva, but they use it as deva. Following? Okay, so ba is also va. So B and V are interchangeable in Sanskrit. So havaba is havava, okay? The beginning, the primordial mother, the invocation of water. So pramadi is actually ma'adi. Madi is a known collapse of ma'adi, okay? And then we have pa. Here we have ka, but there's not a kia here, so it's kaya, pakaya, yatha, pi. Pakaya yatha pi. And this is something, this was hard for me to translate, but it means something along these lines, right? It talks about the dependent condition being aligned precisely, okay? Here's ja, pa, ta. Japata. Okay? The state of one who mutters prayers. Here's the name, Pakya. Okay? Ripening or the protector is named. I do believe it is a name, however. Here's Pa, Tri, Abu. Okay? Pa, Tri, Abu. Now, Patri can mean three different things: wing, ritual vessel, or consort. Here I think it means consort. This is when it starts to get really beautiful, okay? Here is the sign for Nara, okay? So this is not rebus, it just means Nara, human, man, right? Okay. Nara, pa, ti. Narapati. Iti, Abu. The Lord of Men, lo, the unmanifest. I think this would be Itia. I missed a letter, I think. Yatha Abu, Itia Yatha Abu, approached as the unmanifest. Iti Ka, me, Ja with an H, Ga, Ta, and I figured out that this unknown sign is Vira. Okay. Having the speed of my swift song of the hero. I don't know what this sign is yet. I know it's a compound one, but I'm unsure of its meaning. And that's okay. Here we have Pa, unknown sign, and then here we clearly see the sign for meter or mitra. Okay, and then Gatha, Ga, Tha. This is not the god Mitra yet, because I figured out later on they say the god Mitra is named differently, or in writing, right? And then here's a pagama, pa, ga, ma. This also can be gan with an N. Okay. Pagama. It says protector blank. This is probably a name. The friend's song, or the song of the friend. This is death or unattachment, Pagama. Here's a very clean decipherment. This is Ja, Gatha, Gatha, the song of the universe. This is the sign for Bhadra, Gatha, Aja, E, Abu. Okay, the ritual bearer, and it. Hi, Madi. So I no longer believe this is ritual bearer, because later on, you'll see this should just be the bearer. Okay, the bearer's song of the unborn and the unmanifest. Okay. Bada, Gata, Aja, Ra. So it's Bada, Gata, Ajara. The bearer's song of the imperishable. Bada, Gata, Aja, E, Pagama. So, Paragata Aja E Apagama. The bearer's song of the unborn in unattachment or departure or death. It's probably unattachment. Sounds less grim. And it makes more sense with everything else being said. Alright. So this is Bu. This is a person bowing. So it's Nam or Nama. Well, Nam, that's Ma. Bu, Nam, Ma. Sru, Sri, or Shri, Sva. Okay. Whew. So it says, the manifest salutation or name is the transmission of the auspicious self. right? And that goes into going from unmanifest to manifest. It's talking about like the avatar idea, right? So pa, ri, pi, ka, akya. I was unsure about where to put this, right? I was like, does it belong here because it's with there? And I was like, wait a minute, this is all phonetic. So I just closed my eyes and I was like, and I said it, and I was like, that makes sense. It's literally saying a very core idea of Hinduism. The whole, the fragment is named. Pari, Pika, Akya. Okay. And this is where we see the ancient surname, okay, of the tribe, and that is Bukia. Bukia. Yeah. This is, I realize I didn't translate it. Sru Mitra Rasa Rasa. Okay. The transmission of the friend's highest essence. Right? So now we know that Bu means manifest, not earth. I know a lot of scholars are like, oh, their last name Bukia is probably means earth because they're pastoral. Well, most of the Indus was pastoral. That doesn't mean that that's pastoral or means earth. It actually means manifest. Okay, every single time it says Bu in here, it's talking about the unmanifest or the manifest. So now it means Sru meter or mitra rasa rasa. Okay, we're reading the last sign up, top, down. Rasa rasa. Okay, Sru mitra rasa rasa bukia. The transmission of the friend's highest essence, the manifest. It is named, or it's named the manifest. Now that makes sense, right? If you think of it from a religious standpoint. So, I'm going to become one. Actually, I already am a linguist. I'm just, on my own accord. And I am becoming an archaeologist. I've wanted to be an archaeologist since I was 7 years old. But I decided to do all this on my own. So, I think I'm like a semester away from graduating with a BA. I took time off to focus on the Voynich manuscript and the Indus Valley script and all my other little projects with language that I like. So, and I'm glad I did. Because I just solved the Voynich manuscript script, the Indus Valley script, some other linguistic puzzles as well that are related, and a bunch of other little major projects. Oh, you do? Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna probably do anthropology. I was doing criminal justice. I switched it after dealing with a bunch of other things from anthropology to criminal justice. And then now I'm like switching back and I'm like, oh my God, I wanted to be an anthropologist / archaeologist since I was a little girl. Why am I giving up on it? I'm already doing this stuff. I might as well just do it, right? If law enforcement wants to hire me in some way, they can still do that. You're going to laugh? Why am I going to laugh? Are you going to tell me something? Your master's is in forensic anthropology and genetics. I love forensic genealogy. That's awesome. I've thought about those as well. That's cool. I actually like digital forensics too, so I I build my own computers as well, so. And I'm very good at analyzing images and stuff, so I guess natural inclination would also to do digital forensics. But I don't have to pick one or the other, I can do it all, right? Well, that's cool. How long have you been doing that? Or are you currently doing your MA right now? Those who study the rise of forensic genetics in developing countries. Ooh, and also forensic corruption and incompetence. Ooh, that's awesome. I'm all about rooting out corruption and incompetence. Love it. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing. Feel free to share. Also, everyone's more than welcome to email me. Obviously, keep the emails professional. You can email me at founder@glyphpublishing.com. You can also go to glyphpublishing.com and check that out. It's still kind of a work in progress. I'm trying to put up a store as well. Anyway, let's move forward with the inscriptions. So this says Suka Ajara, rendered as the bliss of the undecaying, i.e. Supreme Spirit. Okay, here, like I said before in my Matsya paper, here's the first attested affricate, TS, of Suka. Okay, typically in classical Sanskrit, it's spelled S-U-K-H-A. But here it's, remember I told you the slash is T or TR? There it is, with the Su sign attached to it. Okay. So there we have proof, Suka with an affricate. This is, and I'll just continue, you'll see it again. Ga, Tri, Abu, the singer of the unmanifest. Here we have a similar sign to Bara, but this is Bar. Bar, Tri, Abu. Okay, it's either the, you can read it either way, the mother of the unmanifest or the unmanifest mother. Okay. And this is extremely important. This next one is extremely important. Remember how I said it's object modifier? Okay, ready? Pa, this is the sign for Sula. When you see the Nara sign attached to another sign, like he's holding an object, you're supposed to focus on the object. That's why that's like that. You're not doing anything else, because otherwise it would be Narara, and that's not correct. Okay, so this is the Ra sign, but here it's acting as a spear. So it's Sula. Pa, Sula, and then we have Tri. Pa, Sula, Tri, Abu. It's like, wait a minute, Sula Tri? That's Tri Sula, but backwards. Okay? So this is literally the name of Shiva's spear. Pa, Sula Tri, Abu, the protector's trident of the unmanifest. Pa is being used as protector. Okay. After I realized that the unknown sign is Vira, things started to really fall into place. Okay. Vira, this is a mat or a rug, and what do you do on a mat or a rug? You sit on it. Okay. So it's Vira Asana. And remember how I said in Indus script, if there's a repeated syllable, you just reduce it to one? So it's not Vira Asana, it's Virasana. Virasana. Here's the boar sign. It's not a fish. This is rebus to vara. Okay. Virasana vara ra abu. Okay. The noble seed of the hero, the radiant unmanifest. Now, in other translations, Ra can be Agni because it means fire, right? It depends on the context. Excuse me. So here we have Vira Sana Ta. So it's Virasanata, the prostrated or seated hero. These asterisks are little notes from him, from Mahadevan, to show that he's like unsure, you know, and that's why he also did this scratching, right? He did whatever the sign is, it's Vira. Okay. This is a nice one. Pa ya ma, pi ya ta. Su ya ta, ri ya a. Okay. The ritual drink overflows with guided or well restrained inspiration / divine speech. Okay. The ritual drink is soma. Okay. Soma causes inspiration or divine speech, and it's always guided by Saraswati. Okay. So I made a note on that. Remember how we talked about the sign for the Nandi bull on his shoulder is Stha, because it's Sa and Tha together. Soma? Yes. Soma. Okay. So we have Sa and Tha makes Tha. That's what this sign is. Really important sign, right? So this is Stha Ma. Strength or power. Bara. Ignore of Siva. Just Bara. Sula. Su. Bu. So originally Subu had an alveolar sibilant affricate sound. Oh, Brave New World. You know what's funny? I never actually read Brave New World. I always wanted to. And I didn't read Animal Farm either. And I would pick up 1984. I've seen the movie, but I would pick up 1984, and I'd always stop at page 34, no matter what. And I don't know why. It always happened that way, and I never finished it. So what does that tell me? I need to go finish it. Anyway. Okay, so. Oh, Soma's in. Oh, okay. Oh, it's funny that you say that. I have a whole entire spiel about Soma and Haoma, about the original identity of it, and it's in my book, The Sacred Mountain of Haoma and Soma. You'll love it. Okay, I'm going to continue. Excuse me. Alright, so whenever you see, for the most part, the majority of the time, if you see a repeated sign, it literally means the most of whatever that means. The best of, the most of, right? And that is a very Sanskritic way of expressing that. Yes. Yes. All right. So it's Ista, because these are bricks. Ista, because the original word is Istaka, rebus to Ista. So Ista, Sula, Imha. Okay, this is MHA. When it's by itself, they like to use it as Maha, M-A-H-A, for great. Ista, Sula, Imha, I, Ya, Ksu. This is Ka with Su attached to it. So, Ista Ista Sula Imha Iaksu, the most desired spear, proclaimed by us as desired. Again, we see it here. Ista Ista Sula Itsu Bu. Okay, I was really confused because I was like, gosh, how do I read this? Is it Itsubu, like Subu together? But it's not. Otherwise he would have written it that way, whoever wrote this. But so it's Ista Ista Sula Itsubu. And then Pa, this is me, this is Tha, okay, Su. Pa mi Thatsu, meter or mitra, Misu. The most desired spear, intending to go forth, or about to go forth, really. Right? It's about to be thrown. Okay. The protector, seeking mutual oath, unites with the allies. And of course, you're also looking at the context, right? Does it make sense together in the process of what it's describing? Okay. It does, right? So the protector, he's seeking mutual oath and uniting with his allies, right? Because the spear is about to go forth in like war, right? Okay, so here is Pa Stha, right? The standing protector, the standing one, or the protector, the most standing, right? Or the most immovable. So this is Ja, Stha, and here's the name of the god, Mitra. Because it's not written like this. This is Mitra, or meter. Mitra, that's the god's name right there. So that's how they're differentiating between Mitra, the god, and Mitra, the word for ally or friend, or for the sign, right? Stha, Mitra, Grahastha. The warrior stands or is established or stands firm. Mitra binds, takes hold, and establishes. Okay, the Mitra is the deity of oaths, right? Taking oaths, especially as a warrior. Okay, so this makes sense, even from a content perspective. Here is Sthanambu, the place, home of the manifest. Of course, we have the idea of Svayambhu, right? But this is Sthanambu here. And this is where you see, this next inscription, you see Mha as Maha, okay? Because it's literally Ma and Ha put together, Maha. Maha Stha Sivaja. Maha Stha Sivaja. Priya, right? Priya. I don't know why I didn't even translate this. This is Maha Stha Sivaja P Havava. Havava. Okay, the great immovable Shiva. And talks about the invocation of water. Okay. Namo Maha Stha Ista. Homage to the Great One who stands firm in faith. Ja Tra Vira. The protecting warrior's hero, or it can also mean go to the place of the hero. Vira Vara Abu. Vira Vara Abu, the excellent hero, the unmanifest. Pa, this one was hard. Ta, mi, ta, tamita. Okay, because this is a fish. Tamita. Misu, Abu. The protector, behold, the wrathful one joins and comes forth from the unmanifest. Or it can also mean among, not just join. Vira Maha Pra, the great hero, the most exalted, immovable one. Pa Shiva Mitravara Vira. Now, Mitravara as a phrase in the Rig Veda is attested. Mitravara, okay? And Shiva is being called my greatest friend. Pa Shiva Mitravara Vira. Protector Shiva, my greatest friend, the hero. Nara Pa Vara Mishu Istha. The protector of men, the best among them in standing firm or being immovable. Or standing firm. What did I say? Where was it? Okay, so this one's very short and simple. Sta ya ma. Sta ya ma. Sta ya ma. The moon. Pa sana. Pa asana. Pa sana. Bada. The yoke is na. Tir. Anatir. Pa'asana bada anatir. The protector's posture. So this is a new yogic posture. Okay? The protector's posture. And from the context of other inscriptions, the protector's posture is the one where Shiva and the other female deity are standing firm against lion attack. It's standing up with the hands out. Like that. That is the protector's posture. So the protector's posture is the bearer who is not reclining. Okay? Now I know that sounds weird, but you'll know that this makes sense because the protector's posture, he's standing firm. He's standing up, so he's not reclining. Natir. Here is Natir. Natir Mitravara. Natir Mitravara Yatha Vira. The reclining best friend, just as is the hero. Okay? The reclining best friend, meaning Vishnu. We have Natir Pa Nishu Abu. The reclined protector amidst or among the unmanifest. Again, Vishnu. So the reason why this X is Tir, it's because it's rebus of Tirtha. Okay, the sacred crossing. We're going to go through how I figured out what Vira was. I did a bunch of Vira inscriptions. And this is my analysis. I just put what I knew already existed with the question mark. And I figured out the type of word it was going to be and what it, most likely it had to be. Okay. So here we have Vira Yama. And I know that's BH, but I don't know. I think that might be Sla in the center. But I'm unsure, but that's okay. Okay, the hero Yama, low. Vira Abhu, right here. The hero unmanifest. Vira Kia. Vira Kia. Pra Ga Ta Abu. The one called hero going forth from the unmanifest, or as the unmanifest. Vira Bu. It can be Ru, Ra, or Ri. Mira. The unmanifest hero, the ocean's sound. And then Vira Mi A. The hero passes as water, lo, or behold. Vira Pa, unknown sign. Priya, the hero, protector. I think it's a name. The beloved. Vira Ta Mita Ahi. The hero, the wrathful snake, belonging to the hero, Viraya. Okay. Pa Bu, I don't know, I'm unsure about this sign. Misu, Pa, and then unknown, Nam, Vira, Nama. The protector, something, behold, in union. The protector, something, homage to the hero. Pa, Tha, Vira, Priya. The path of the hero, the beloved. Vira, Tsubu, Pa, A, Tamita. The mighty hero, the protector, behold the angered one, or the angry one. Vira Sana, I put the wrong word in there. It should not be that one. I got confused because there's another double sign where it would be Tuma, Ta, Mita, Rasa. The hero, Ra, or Agni, okay, and thus is the pleasing essence. Of course, the pleasing essence is associated with Agni. Nara, Pa, there's the sign for door, Dvara, rebused to Dva, and it becomes Deva. Narapa Deva. Prirasa. The protector of men, the Deva, the pleasing essence. Japa, Vira. Vira, Rasa. The hero's mutterance, but it's really mantra. They're using mutterance for mantra, right? The hero's mantra, the heroic essence. Okay? Vira Rasa is its entire idea in theater and performing arts. Okay, I had Vira Rasa here translated long before I knew what Vira Rasa was. Had no clue, and I was doing research on everything, and I stumbled upon Vira Rasa, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, isn't that in my inscription somewhere? And I was like, oh my god, it is. And I started reading about Vira Rasa, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And it all started to make more sense in the context, finally. That's what it's describing. This is where Vira Rasa actually comes from, before it's ever actually written down. That's where all the yogic postures come from before it's ever written down. Okay? So, it's describing this from a ritual perspective, not from a theater perspective, because it talks about the essences, the senses, right? Of emotional expression. So this is, oops, what happened? So this is, oh, did I mess it up? No. There we go. Okay, so this is japa, siva, ja, vira, prirasa. Okay, the mutterance or mantra, mantra of the one born of Shiva, the hero, the pleasing essence. I no longer think it's born of, but born as Shiva. Japa, sa, this is the sign for sa, up against, and it makes tirtha. Okay? Japa sa tirtha vira pri rasa. The mantra of the sacred crossing, or the bathing places of the hero. Not satirtha like the teacher, right? It's the sacred crossing. So this is vira, ga, tha. I'm sorry, why did I put gatha? That should be yatha. The hero's path. Aja. See, this is what happens when I work on stuff too late. Sru, danda. This is rod, danda, because it is, he's holding a rod, right? Danda. Rasa. Pravira. I don't know what this is yet. Graha, miti. Gratha, vira. Vira satirtha. I know this is an O. Okay. I think this is a scorpion, but I am unsure. I put scorpion down in the lexicon, but I don't know what this is. And this is Vira. So this shouldn't be song, it should be path. The hero's path of the unborn, the flowing rod's essence. Okay? Grasp the measure song of the hero's sacred crossing or bathing places, such and such, the hero. Okay, it sounds, you know, you can just read about it here. Narapa Deva Ananti Sru Rasa Pra Mi Astha Vira Ra Ma A Maha or Ama Ya Vira Vira Prasu Soma Vira. Okay, again, remember we've got Nara, and whatever the person, little man sign, is holding is the word for that. Right? So this is Soma, it's the ritual drink. So it literally means the protector of men, the eternal Deva, flowing juice forth as water like a torrent. And the reason why it's torrent is because it is opposite of standing still, really. So it's a torrent, flowing juice forth as a torrent. The hero Rama presses together the hero, right? Soma is not only a plant, not only a drink, but is also the hero Soma, the god Soma. So there's this allegory here. The hero Rama presses together Soma. And then it literally says it. The hero presses the hero Soma. All right, sorry, my back is hurting. So that, I love this one. That one's good. Here we have Pa, Ka, Vira, Pri, Rasa. The mature hero, the beloved essence. Ja, Nara, Pa, Vira, Pri, and I don't know what the 4 lines are yet. It says the arisen heroic protector of men, the beloved something. Vira gra istha, vira ya ti rasa. Okay, Okay. The hero holds by standing firm or standing in. That should be in standing. He impels or sets in motion the essence. Miaya, I haven't translated this one. I'll have to go back because I'm missing things. Bada, Gatha, Aja, E, Asana, Vira. Excuse me. The bearer's song of the unborn goes forth as the seat or posture of the hero. Payama Avira. Payama Avira. Yama, the protector of the childless. Here it wouldn't be widow. Okay, it's referring to ascetics. And again, this is an ascetic, a gory ascetics, right? The byroad of the childless. Vira, this is Thea or Tia because it's flipped, right? Vira. So Virathia Avira, the byroad of the childless. And that basically ascetics take the byroad, okay? They take the road less traveled because they have to renounce things. Vira Vara Aud Asana. It's flying upwards, right? Vira Ya Danu Sana A. The noble hero in the unmoving grounded seat, the advancing hero in the bow seat, behold. So here you have two different types of hero, okay? You have one who is unmoving, right? And the other who's advancing. Okay. Oh, excuse me. This one was hard for me to find. This is, of course, JH, but it's doubled up on itself, so it's JJH. So this is Vira Ja, but it's double J. Had a hard time finding it, but it does exist. Okay. The inner hero, right? The hero within oneself is what that means. And then, let's see. Okay. Pa something something. Anam Vira. Vira. Par Ma Anam Vira. That should be Mu or Mo. I need to go back and fix that. Vira Pa Pia. This is a rope, so it's rebus to PYA. Okay. Sra A Na Sa Anasa. The hero in streaming purification is still living. I put a comma there, but I don't know what this sign is. I know it's architectural in nature. Yeah. So this is Nara Pa Vira Abu, the protector of men, the unmanifest hero. Vira Mi Su Abu, the hero among or in union with the unmanifest. Vira Vara Abu, the excellent or noble hero, the unmanifest. Vira Graha Ra Abu, the hero takes hold of the unmanifest fire. Okay, but it could be Agni. Virasana Vara Ra Abu, the heroic seat of the noble, radiant, unmanifest. Viramiti Abu, the hero, the measure of the unmanifest, or the form, really. Now that we know that Matsya is of or pertaining to form, they should say the hero, the form of the unmanifest. Vira Mitra Abu, the heroic friend, the unmanifest. I don't know why I put Vira, it should be Vira Abu, the nectar of the unmanifest hero. Vira Shiva Vara Mia Abu. The noble, excellent hero passes low as the unmanifest. Vira Rasa E Abu, the heroic essence in the unmanifest. Viraja Abu, the born hero, the unmanifest. Bar Ya, so this is not Bara, but Bar. Bar Ya Ma Ka Abu, the adorned wife of the unmanifest. Viraka Abu, the unmanifest heroes, plural. Okay. Pavira. Pa. I have to go back and change this. I was not paying attention. That does not say Kia. I gotta go back and fix that. Alright. Bada Rasa Ra. Raba. Remember, B is also V, so it's Rava. Vira Miti Vara Abu. The bearers, or Agni's essence, Ra, fire. The roar, right? The hero's value or measure, form, the noble unmanifest. Good night, Evan, and thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Okay. Vira Gratha Mitra Miti Abu Vira. The hero bound as in an oath. The friends form the hero's unmanifest. Vira Akya Hava Misa, I think this is Misuaya Abu, the invocation of the one called hero acting in union with the unmanifest. Bara Vira Subu, Vira Subu, the bearer's powerful hero, the powerful hero. Repeats it twice. Nara Nara Vira, the best of mankind, the hero. Vara Ya, and see it's Aya because it's the A is repeated, you just mash it together. So instead of Vara Aya, it's Varaya. Varaya. Avira. Avira. Bu me. So here we have the word Bhumi, the earth. Okay. To be chosen or choose to be without sons, the earth. Okay. Vira Naraya, the strong or manly hero, but I do not know what this sign is yet. Natir Mitravara Yatha Vira, the reclining noble friend, just as the hero. Okay. And then we'll go through, I have an appendix with more inscriptions. Not as many.